Hey guys, back. Different setup with the camera, so hopefully you can see more than my arm, like you did yesterday. So here are the canvases that we did yesterday, and they're pretty much dry. They might be wet on the bottom um, where the tape and the cups. Yeah, they are. So I'm just going to smear across right there. Get that extra paint off there. But don't know if you can see like the shimmer in there. But that's how that one turned out. And there's those really cool cells up through there. I'm doing this on my phone. I don't have like a fancy camera set up. But, so there's one of them. I'm going to put it over here on my little drying rack, which is nothing fancy. It is a cookie cooling rack, baking rack thing. With the extra paint on that one. So here is the other one. Super cool. Like right there's the best part of this one, in my opinion. But you can see it's got those cells all through there. And the gold's coming up through the silver right through there. And let me flip it around this way. I don't know if you can see the shimmer, but once you put a top coat on this of any type, it will make that shimmer pop. It stands out a lot more. So I'll put that one over there. And let's get the other ones out. I've already taped the back of these, so they're ready to go. And I'm just going to put them down on here. And I am going to try to remind myself not to use as much paint, because you can see all the wasted paint that's on here from yesterday. Not too bad, but it's not good either. So let me get all this balanced again. And of course, some of it's stuck to the puppy pad, and you just peel it off. And I think you heard me, might have said it yesterday, that I do have silicone mats that I use. That they're outside in a bucket right now. You do not want to wash the stuff down your sinks, down your tubs, down anything in your house. So I have a big bucket that I use outside that I clean my stuff with. And the summertime it's a lot easier to do, because you can go out there and scrub it down. And that when it's freezing and the water's cold and your hands are cold, it's hard to do. So I've already checked my paints this morning, or just now, before I turned the camera on, to make sure that they're the right consistency. So we're going to use the same colors. And then I think this is called an open cup pour. And you can use, so like this is just a bottom of a one of the little cups that I cut off. So you can use this. You want to put this, obviously, the flat part down. And you can do this with a paper cup or whatever type of cup. I would use this on a bigger canvas, but since this canvas isn't that big, I'm going to use a smaller one, actually, that I paid for. So it has a little lip on it. That little lip's going to go down. So same colors and just similar technique, but you're going to get a different look. So I am going to actually, your paint's going to be a little bit thinner for this one. And I thought that was thin enough, but it's not. So I'm just going to squirt some more water in there and give it a good stir. So I asked my dad to write me a little jingle for my opening, so I can have the same intro on everyone. Title's going to be Painting in My Pajamas, because yes, I don't know if you can tell that, but if you see my leg, I am in my pajamas. I paint a lot of times in my pajamas. And sometimes I just have a sweatshirt on over top of my pajamas. So I'm just going to throw this white paint down. Just going to put it like right here in the center. This is where I'm going to start my little thing. And then I can add, actually I'll make it a little bit bigger, just so I have some place to go with it. So that over there. I'm just going to tilt this around a little bit. Uh-oh, my cups fell off. No biggie. Tilt it around. I'm not going to let it run off the edges, but I am going to thin it out a little bit. So, and then I'm going to bring it back to the center. You can see the paint move, how it moves. And you can always let it run off that end down there so you can see it better. And then bring it back. And then, of course, pop bubbles. And my I don't know where I don't have extra butane for my torch. I thought I did, but I was down there digging this morning and I didn't see it. So I do have a heat gun, which is this right here. You can get that off Amazon. If you don't like to work with the flame, this does the same thing. I just found this to be quicker. But this is probably more cost effective. So I've got that down. I'm going to put my little thing down with the little lip at the bottom. And it's just sitting in there. And then I'm going to start out with this blue. I'm just going to put like a little bit in there. Get it around the bottom, not all the way, just because I want to get more colors. And you'll see what this will do in a second. It's super cool. So these are some of my first ones that I started out with because I really liked what they did. So you'll just kind of go, let me make these in a line so that I know what I've done. So I'll do a little bit of silver. And these can be in whatever order you want them to be in. It's pretty much like 3 drops, if I can get that third one off of there. 3 drops of silver in there, so nothing too much. And let's do the green. Right over top of that. I can't bring it down to look at it, but I can probably bring this up for you to look at. So you can see that little cup is just getting, where's my camera part at? It's getting full right through there. So I'll just keep filling that up and then the cool part will happen shortly. I did the green. Let's do this nicely. And then I'm going to do gold. A little more gold than the silver. I think the gold's a little bit thinner, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do my little dibble of white. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to start over kind of. Let me do my other colors again one more time. I'll go a little bit quicker, or try to. You just want to try to keep your colors in that. Try not to drip them everywhere else. If you do, just dab your finger on it. You just heard all my aluminum foil fall. That's what I had my cups covered up with last night. And don't cover your stuff up with paper tape. I did that one time. Let them set for like a week because I was having medical problems and came back to them. And of course, paper tape is not, or it's porous, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what I want in a word. But anyway, my paint's dried out. And I do try to save my paints. Unless I do something really weird for somebody and it's got weird colors that I know I'll never use again, then I don't worry about it. So right now I'm doing all the colors stacked together. And then I'm going to do, come on, this is not coming off there very well. There we go. Alright, so let's do a little silver. And I drip that on the side right there, and I can just dip my finger in it, wipe it off. So what you're gonna do is barely, actually I see more bubbles, air bubbles in my painting, so I'm gonna go through here and pop these again. It's just because I just mixed this again with more water. So if you can mix your paints the day before, that's going to be your best bet. But sometimes you don't do that. So I'm just going to barely lift this up, kind of pump it, pump it, pump, 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 pump. And see that really cool right there? I'm going to repeat all this again. I think I'm just, I better not pour, because if I pour and I mess it up, I'm going to be mad at myself. So after you've gotten that in there, you really don't want to get anything on the outside of this, your little cup thing. And I'm just going to change my colors really quick. I'm trying to go quick, sorry. So I had to move my camera around because I was like, oh, you know, so this is my learning curve too, so bear with me. I had the camera last time set up to my right on a tripod, and now I have it on a selfie stick that I had gotten to take on vacation, and of course forgot to pack it. So this is going to be a little bit more muted than the other one. It was a little bit more bold, but again, same colors. And do some gold. I'm trying to fill this little thing up so it'll be better once I do it. White. I left my sticks, or this stick in this cup all night, and it's very soft. So it feels very weird working with it. There we go. Right. And then I'll do some silver again. There's no rhyme or reason how you have to do this. And you just throw in colors. Just have them all mixed before you get started. Make sure they're pretty much the same consistency when you get started. So these are my kind of ocean colors. I use these a lot because I like them. So I'm going to try to get all these colors in here again real quick, and then it's going to be almost full, and that should be enough for my painting. And usually I do have music playing in the background, but if I have it playing, then I have to link all the music in the background, and I just have a playlist that plays. So you can tell that's like almost full. Let me lift this up again. I'm going to move my cups again. So can you see how that has started? That's the first part that I lifted up. I'll try to do it right here so you can see it better. So I'm just going to kind of lift it up, pump it, and move it. And you can tell it's like spreading over through here. And it's starting to spread down. And then I'm just going to bring it, I'll take it back up if I can. Do anything you want to do with this. Just kind of glide it along the top of your painting. Don't scrape the white, just kind of glide it across the white. And you know what, I might do this one more time. I probably could have used that bigger one, but I was trying to save paint, which in the long run I probably will, I'm sure. Looking for my cup that has escaped. So I'm going to throw some white in here first. Put a lot of gold in this part right here. Just make it different and make it different to see what happens. All right, gold, and then we're gonna do our green. And sometimes you can put a lot of one color, and then, you know, a little bit of the next color, or light, however you want to do it. It doesn't really matter. It's your art. Sometimes you're gonna like it, sometimes you're not. If you don't like it, you can scrape all this off and do it again. And if you could give me a like on this video, thumbs up button, the like button, and subscribe, that will help me in my long-term goal for YouTube, which is, if I'm ever not able to work because of my MS, that I will have some type of income off YouTube. And then by then I'll have super nice setup and, you know, maybe a whole room for my art, instead of half a bedroom studio like I have now. But anyway, if you could give me a big thumbs up and a like, and if you have any comments or questions, I think in my last video I had that it was kid friendly, which I didn't realize that if it says kid friendly, you can't leave comments. So I got that out of there, so you can leave comments, leave me comments, questions, anything you want, colors you want to see me do. If you would like me to create a piece of art for you, I would love to do that. And I've created art for pretty much everybody in my family now. My sister's got some coasters for Christmas that I made. They turned out super cool. And I will make some of those again on here too. But I was just kind of starting out with the basics. And my funnest pour. So again, that's filled up to the top. I'm just going to slightly just pump it and pull it and glide it across. And so now it's empty, and there's still some paint in there. Alright, so let me pull it up so you can see it. You see all the details in there. So you can see the first part is starting to sell up. Now, I'm going to try to hold this up while I do this. Alright, so now I'm going to take a torch to it. So you can torch things to get cells to pop up. So like I'm doing there. You can see how they're popping up there. And I always thought these were so cool, and I still do. So if you can see all those good. The longer it sits, the more it will pop up. But what I'm going to start doing now is I am going to stretch this out. So I'm going to take it to this corner here, down here. Remember how I said you had to have paint on your canvas so it doesn't roll over and you lose your painting. So now I'm just going to take this white paint and just smear it on the edges, just so that I don't lose any of my design in here. I'm going to have to add some more down here. Let's see what's going on. You know, I'll add more down here, but I'm going to tilt it up this way first. And bring it back down. And what you do when you're doing this also, it stretches these cells out to make them bigger. And I need more white paint over here because this side is not moving. If you have a side that doesn't move, or if it looks like it's, you know, it's just not moving, obviously, put more of your pillow paint down, or your base paint. I think there's another word they use, but so like this part was moving, this part was not, so I put some more paint up there, and let's see what happens. Maybe a cup off there. I'm going to bring it back down toward me on this side, and then I'm going to take it back up there. And I just lost some of that, but I might be able to get that back. I think I will. I'm going to let some of that go over the edge right there, and then I'm going to bring it all the way back down here. Excuse me. So you can see how cool that is looking now. And what I'm going to do so that I don't forget is go in and add more of my white paint down here. Make sure you get your edges covered because it will go off your edges, and you want it to kind of look good when it goes off the edges. Because your artwork can carry off to the edges. There's some people that tape their edges up, so but they're usually doing this like on a wood panel, and then the wood stays exposed. It doesn't have any paint going off the side. But I like it when the paint goes off the side because I just think it's cool looking. So, all right. Let me rub my sides down real quick to kind of smooth out that. And of course, where's my torch? Get the air bubbles out of the white paint that I just put on there. I'm going over that again. And holy shimoly. This is so cool looking. This was one of my favorites things to do. And I didn't tear off my paper towel. It's always, oops, got a little devil on there. It's always good to keep your garbage can next to you so you can just pitch it. So I'm going to go back to tilting again. I'm going to just come down and stretch all that bottom part out a little bit more. Bring it down. And this little corner looks super cool, so I'm going to stretch it back up that way. So, like when you don't have paint in a certain area, they just call that negative space. Like all this white part would be my negative space. And it's okay to have that in your drawings. It creates a little contrast, and I like it personally. Sometimes I like it when the whole thing's covered. So, you know, it just depends on your mood, honestly. But see how that rolls off the edge and it just carries over. You know, it looks pretty. So I'm going to bring this back toward the center. I'm going to bring it down. I think I'm going to leave that corner up there with nothing on it. Just because that corner has something on it, a little bit on it. And just going to take it to this edge. Then I'll bring it back to the center. I'll take it back up that way. I'm going to try to get it to the edge, sort of. Bring it down. Take it back to the center. Yeah, if you have any tips or tricks, hints, anything to give me, please leave them in the comments. You know, I've been doing this for a while, but I still watch all these other videos and I'm like, holy shmoly, they're so cool. This looks really cool down here, but I think it's going to come off the canvas. It is. I'm just going to go on and let it come off and not worry about it. And I'm tilting it back that way. Like I said, keep your hands like in the white part. That way you can always touch that up. 'Cause I'm not good at balancing these. Sometimes I can barely balance myself, much less a canvas. So this looks super cool. I'm going to bring it down some more. I think I'm going to try to get some of that off the bottom and then I'll flip it back up. So right now it's just the paint pretty much moving around on the canvas. and it stretches those cells out. And that part, that blue part right there, I don't know if you can see how cool that is. That's what I love about this kind of stuff. That's what got me hooked to begin with. And there's some up there on that corner too. So I'm gonna leave this one like this. I'm gonna bring in my white paint again and touch up where I had been holding it with my fingers. And where's my other spot? Just kind of make sure all your edges and corners are covered. So how cool is that? Of course, I'm going to put up paper towel, get my hands off, and I'll torch it again, and more colors will pop up, pop through there. And my torch is almost out. Hey, that's pretty. Excuse me. There's a spot here that the green's not rolling off. So I'm just going to dibble my finger in this paint and kind of touch down the side of it, at least get some paint there. And then try to get it to run off. Remember I said you can always scrape your sides and push that up on the top there. And I stuck my finger over here, which was not good, but so I'm going to tilt this way real quick to get that spot gone where I just put my finger in it. I'm just turning it all the way sideways just to get that to run off there. And it's about ready to. There it goes. I'm going to tilt it back just so the paint's not there, and that stretches all those cells out again. It's still moving, it's just moving slowly. So now that I tilt that, I don't know if you can see all those colors right in there. So I'll throw these back on my, I think I'm going to move this over a little bit more because I don't want to drip my new one onto the old one. Off. And then run my fingers off. I'm going to cover it. Oh, Bridget, Sue, did you see what I just did? My paper towel went off in this right here. But actually it doesn't look too bad. The paint's still there. I just kind of touched it. Lord help me. Self-heat. But anyway, looks cool. So moving on, I'm going to, my torch is out. So just going to turn this heat gun on low. It does low. And then it does high. The high can move your paint around. So sorry for the sound. Ooh, there's still a lot of paint right here. I gotta get that off there. Because if I don't, it will crack. Which means I need to hold it down here. And it's white. And I can rest it up on those two right there. So I'm just going to let that whole part run off the side. This is a little bit safer than the flame, but this is hot. It can still burn you. So make sure you're careful when you're using it. So I'm trying to get some cells to pop up extra on here too. This part is so cool. Alright, so I know all my bubbles are popped. What I'm going to do is take my fingers around the edge real quick and getting this excess off so that it does not keep going off the side, and it'll change my painting, which I don't want that to happen. Okay, so now I'm just going to touch up these edges one more time. I have my fingers. And it'll all blend together when it dries. So, let's do this other one. I'm trying to think if I want to do it. So, I think yesterday I had gold and white going through my thing. So, I'll just do that again. And we'll still do that type of pour on it. Just so you can get an idea of the different things you can do with the same colors and kind of the same technique. Sorry, I just noticed something. So you can always blow on things too to kind of blend them. And there's the whole, you can use a blow dryer, and there's the world's smallest leaf blower, which is kind of cool. And I think I put gold, so I'll put some gold through here. Actually, I need to pour it because this little bit's not looking good. So this is going to make it a little bit more fancier than that one. Let's scrape that off because I got white in there. I can even put some silver. I don't see where the silver even showed up on that other one. But I think this one I said is thicker. Yeah, it is. It's actually a little bit thicker. So let's see what happens. All right. Get unstuck from my cups. Maybe. All right. So I just poured it on there, no rhyme or reason, and I'm just gonna roll it around the canvas. I'm so used to just being here by myself that I forget I'm videoing this. And I'm just going to swirl that around. Get all my edges covered. If you need more paint, you can always scrape the edges, the bottoms, and then kind of just smush it on there. And that'll let everything roll off a little bit better too. So I'm just going to bring it back down. Alright, so I'm going to have to put more paint on here, which I didn't want to do, but I will. Because I don't have enough down here. So I'm just going to put a little bit. I know I got some color on that stick, but I don't really care because I'm almost done with that cup. Alright, sorry about that. So, let me swirl all this around. That'll just all kind of blend together here in a minute. Just kind of swirl it around to get the color spread back out on the canvas. Just letting it run off the bottom in that corner, go that way. And then I'll bring it up to the top, let it come off that corner. And then I'll put my little circle thing on here and we'll do another one like we just did, but it'll be on this little fancy background. And you know, if you like this just like that, I mean, I kind of do. The more you stretch this out, the cooler this is gonna look, but I'm not gonna stretch all that out right now. So, is that in view? Yeah. I'm going to, this corner looks bare or something. There we go. Scrape your paints if you need some on the corner and just let it roll off your corners. I'm going to get 2 paper towels real quick, so hang on one sec. I thought I had one over there, but I guess I already used it. Alright, so lots of gold on this one, and you know what, I'll just use this cup so we can get a different, oh, I didn't pop my air bubbles. Poodles, hang on. I just got out a big clop of something. Well, not clop of something, it was a clump of paint. So just getting all the air bubbles out of this, not really too concerned. I just want those bubbles out. This still has a lot of paint on here. I'll turn this up high a little bit to see it move. See how it's all moving through there? We'll get all that off when we do the little circle thing. So I'm going to use the big one on this one too. I just cut the bottom of the Dixie cup off. I'm just going to put it, so I don't know, like kind of cool. I'm gonna do it right here. So, let's go with some white on the bottom. Oh my gosh, my stick is stuck to my cup. All right, so this one I can kind of scrape my stick, and I'm gonna pour them in here because this cup's a little bit bigger. So I don't have to worry about making it right in that little bitty circle like I had. So I'm gonna fill this whole part up with white. And remember the other day we had like the layered cup, or you just kind of poured it in there. It's kind of like a dirty pour. So you can do that with this one too. You can layer it in there easy, or you can pour it up high. And so you can layer it in like this, pour it down low, and just kind of, or you can pour it up high, and it'll mix in with that other colors. So we're going to do a little high pouring. Obviously start out low so you can figure it out where you're at. And then let's do some gold. And you don't have to do it like all around the circle. You can do it halfway, however you want to do it. And then let's do this light blue. So what this is doing now, it's starting to float away. And this is the cool part. Just gonna kind of push it back down, and you'll see stuff starting to pop up there. It'll be really cool looking. And that's just because I'm pouring all this up high. And it kind of will push the cup away. Just kind of move it how you want it to move. Let me do some silver, and then I'm going to try to do one more round of the colors. And then I'll be done. We're pouring this up high so it kind of mixes together, like I said earlier. And you don't have to pour your colors in any certain order. You can, you don't have to. That's the best thing about this type of art. You really don't have to be an artist. I didn't really consider myself an artist until my good friend Miss Rhonda said, well, absolutely, you're an that I was an abstract artist. And I was like, oh, never thought of it that way, but awesome. I'll be an abstract artist. My dad's an artist. He is a really good artist. He is not an abstract artist. He can draw anything, and it looks amazing. So there, I'm just going to pull that off there, and my cup's empty. It's all in here, and you can see these little air bubbles and cells already starting. I'm going to pop my air bubbles real quick. You can see that paint's just stuck on there, moving around, and that's going to all come off. Not all of it, obviously, but there's a bubble right there. Come on. There might be a hunk of stuff. I'll have to get that in a minute. All right. So this is one of those videos you can watch before you go to bed. It's kind of what I did. That's how I learned to do this. Because it's long. It's a long video, but I did two things in here. So I'm just rolling this around, moving it around, stretching it back that way. The cups are falling. That's okay. Let me bring it here and come back this way. And come back off here. I'm just going to let it come off the bottom right here. So this one, although it doesn't have like the white negative space, the negative space on this one would be the white, gold, and silver that I poured at the beginning, per se, because it's still not in the total design. And I'm going to move my fingers down here where I can just put some gold there and cover that up and let that roll off and come back. And you can see those cells are stretching out huge. Come back. And come back up that way. Tilt that way. You can just move it however you want to move it. And then grab some paint over here from where my thumb was. Not my thumb, my finger. And I'm gonna let it come back off this way and let it roll off that side again. Just so it'll get rid of that my thumbprint that was there. So there's no, like I said earlier, there's no rhyme or reason or any rules that you have to follow. I mean, even if you get your paints mixed wrong, you'll still come up with something. And if you don't like it, scrape it into a jar. Just take, take your hand, take whatever, you can just scrape it off into a jar. And then you can use that for like your base painting on another one, because your paintings will roll over top of that bottom part if you wanted to. Because I could technically cover this whole thing. I don't like that straight across. Hang on, let me get rid of that. With just this top part, the new ones that I put on there. So once I get this pulled off that side, it's not going so much straight across anymore. And I'll pull it back down. It's like all those cells earlier, they're gone because I have moved this around. And I think I just poured paint on my other one that I moved over so that I wouldn't do it. But anywho, I can fix it. It fell off on the white. So I'm going to tilt it off this edge again. Just because there's a lot of paint on there. I'll bring it down to this bottom corner. Try it to anyway, it's coming. It's going slow. Alright. So all my edges, let me get right here. You can just touch them up. So right here where my thumb was, I'm going to just get some of this other paint and I'm just going to scrape it right here to make it look like that was there. And just pour that. Alright, so, checking my edges. I need to fix that one over there. I did my protect.